Hello, greetings and salutations. This is the Real Agent P, and today I am coming at you drinking some green tea with honey. And my guest today is a YouTuber, a streamer, but I think above all else, he is a pro player, and I am so excited to have him on. Lord Knight, how are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're very welcome, man. So you're actually the first pro player that I've had on the channel, so kudos to breaking that cherry. But let's go ahead and get started off in some really deep delving questions here, man. What's your favorite color?
Oh, okay. I'm not really that sure. I probably would say something really generic like blue or red, but I don't really use like one color for like anything in particular, like in games, like in some games I pick red, some games I pick blue, some I pick black. In Dragon Ball, my team doesn't use like one color scheme. I have like more general themes, so like all the characters have different colors, so it's kind of hard to just pick one, but I feel like maybe blue would probably be the closest to like a color.
Now, as we're on the topic of favorites, what would you say is your favorite food?
This one is kind of interesting. I'm not that picky about food. I know that's the opposite of what's your favorite food. What I'm trying to say is I just like food in a really general type of way. And I'm willing to try basically anything, and there's a lot of stuff that I really like. So I think the only thing I could say that is my favorite, probably because it's the thing I pick when I don't know what to get, are actually wings. I really like wings.
Wait,
what kind of wings? But I don't know what to get.
What kind of sauce do you normally get on them?
I'll mix it up. Like if I really think the place is sus, I'll go for buffalo. Cause like if you mess up buffalo wings, then I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
It's hard to mess up buffalo wings.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to mess up buffalo wings.
So would you say you're more of like if you had to pick though, like would you like your favorite wing place? What would you say you're gonna get there?
So there's a place near me that makes like jerk chicken, like a Jamaican place. That's really good. I just like, it's one of those foods where it's like there's a lot of like stylistic things you can do, even though it's like a really simple thing. So like a lot of regions have their own way of like doing like dry rub is a thing, and there's like Korean fried chicken, but then there's also like the US style fried chicken, there's jerk chicken, there's like all these type of sauces you can use and stuff, so it's pretty flexible.
No, man, I love me some good jerk chicken. Like jerk chicken is just some spicy wings.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I mean, you can do about as many things on chicken as you can on pizza. So if you had a perfect pizza, what would that be?
I'm pretty simple on this one too. Like, like when you're in a group, like there's always people who are like picky or like they don't want this thing or that thing or the other thing. So like, I'm not usually the one. Like, I like kind of exotic stuff on my pizza sometimes. Like, I mean, not exotic. Like, I like pineapple on pizza, for example, right? Like, okay. I think it's good. If it's done well, it's good. But some people don't like that, so I'm not like asking for it. So, my general pizza order, I would just deadass like if they have just like pepperoni on a pizza and like nobody else is complaining, like it's fine. Because I'm not gonna order a pizza for myself. By the way, that's the thing. That's okay. Food that you share.
Okay.
That's a food that you share. So. It's like a really big point.
Kind of a go with the flow pizza guy. Nice, respect. So with that, do you think that ketchup belongs on a hot dog?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, some people in Chicago would disagree with you, like Chicago style dogs.
What kind of savage? Chicago always got to do their own stuff, man. Like they're all like, yeah, look at our deep dish pizza, and they have like a pie. They shove this pie in your face.
Oh, are you not a fan of deep dish?
I love deep dish.
Okay.
And I know they call it deep dish pizza, but I'm just saying, like, like they're just different out there. I accept it. The stuff's good, but like, there's a reason why there's a standard everywhere else, but the place where you're from, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, Chicago likes to play it a little different on that.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said at the beginning of this, for anybody that doesn't know, you are a pro player. You've done many different pro tournaments. You were in the Dragon Ball Fighters Nationals on the West Coast last year. So what got you into doing the pro circuit? Like, what made you decide, hey, I want to be a pro player?
It's kind of a layered question depending on like what you're looking for, Like I basically chose to play Dragon Ball with the intent of thinking it was going to be a large competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the scene for a while, so if you're talking about like just that, like, oh, I picked Dragon Ball to do this. Like I was like, okay, this is gonna happen. Dragon Ball, I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, something like that. If you step back and look at the motivation for fighting games, it's mostly just like I just really don't like losing, and like fighting games is like one of those genres that naturally have like tryhards and sweats and stuff. So even if like you like, let's say you conquer your block or whatever, there's always like another guy out there, another person out there who's ready to like shut you down. So like thinking like, oh, if I win like tournaments, that means I'm just literally better than everyone, right? It's kind of like the early the early motivation, simple but early motivation.
Yeah, just gotta go beat people down, right? All right, so also in becoming a pro player, you also do streaming, you also do YouTube, and I know those are a little bit newer avenues probably than the pro player avenue was. So what made you decide to start tapping into that streaming and YouTubing?
Well, I've been streaming for a while actually. I've been streaming since like I want to say like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
I've been streaming for a really long time. But I would never say I was really that serious about it because at that time, so like I was doing it, but at that time Twitch, I mean streaming in general was just a lot different at that time. So like Twitch like just started and people were like, oh, what's kind of the point of this thing that you guys are doing? It was ridiculously hard to get partner when they announced a partner. Like basically like nobody was a Twitch partner. It was super hard to get Twitch partner status. And I also thought that streaming was a waste of time from a practice competitive perspective. I was like, oh, if I stream, I'm gonna be like taking time away from practice. But I streamed anyway. I don't really know why, to be honest, why I kept streaming, even though I thought that way. But I kind of just streamed for a while, and then I guess when did I get? I think I got partner in like 2016 or something when they started to like quietly ease the I should say lower the bar. They just started to lower the bar. Like all the people who have like 500 plus concurrents, they're already partners, right? So like they had to kind of lower the bar for people to get it and review like their numbers of like what does it actually mean to be at the top of Twitch, you know? So I got it during Guilty Gear, and from there I just kind of streamed because I was like, well, I have partner, so I guess I should stream, like once a week or twice a week or whatever. YouTube I've been doing for a while too. I've had my YouTube account is really old, like really, really, really old. Like basically, I got YouTube like right when it came out, I guess. And I used to upload like SSBM and like Melty Blood stuff. Like if you go like dig through, there's a ton of like old like tech and like match videos and stuff. But there's a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber and try it, and like you'll see like me doing it kind of like for a month, and all the videos do like I-ish, but then like either like something in life, like work or something is keeping me from doing it. In Dragon Ball, even at the beginning of Dragon Ball 2, I was like, okay, let's try this YouTube thing again. But I felt like I couldn't actually make videos about the game because I didn't know how to play the game. Like, basically, no one knew how to play the game. So I was like, how can you make videos about this game when you don't know how to play the game? So all I could do is like just post matches, and I was like, well, I'm not even that good at the game right now. Like this game is so confusing to me compared to other fighting games. So I kind of just stopped and just would post combos or whatever, like I was before. In season 2, I decided, I was like, okay, now is really the time to do YouTube. I had a few motivations for doing it. And I'm really glad I decided to like do it pretty seriously because I think it's going okay right now. So yeah, I think that's everything for those two. So in the end, like just I've been streaming for a long time. YouTube is a little bit more recent, but I just thought it's something I had.
Now, recently on your channel, you've been doing like the problem with and like the good things with certain characters. So like, what made you decide to do like the problem with series, and like what kind of special insight do you think you have as a pro player to like really dig into these characters to get into them and, you know, really like dissect them on a level that a casual player might not understand?
So, so the problem with this is kind of from, I kind of treat YouTube like a fighting game, and like I study YouTube a lot. Like I think probably in the past like year or two, I've watched just way more YouTube and like looked up stuff that like what people are doing and things like that. And last year, so it's been a little bit over a year now. Last year, I basically started doing daily uploads. I either do 6 or 7 day a week, but generally 7 day a week uploads. Excuse me. So in this time, thinking about like what the type of stuff, the type of content I want to post and stuff, I have like a couple of like core ideas that like I try to make sure all my content is based off of, or at least the majority of my content is based off of. One is that I don't actually consider myself to be like such a standout type of personality that like I can make videos about myself, because there's some people who do think that, and so they just make videos about themselves and it doesn't work. There's also some people who they don't think that, but then they also don't they don't feel like they can narrow down like an idea or a concept where they can start, so they just don't do anything. It's not like me putting myself down. It's just like, you know, there's a difference between like my opinion on why X character is bad and then like the problem with X character. Dragon Ball is like such a powerful franchise, and the characters are, in my opinion, are like the really big draw for both people playing the game, because there's some people who think the game's trash, and they say no one will play the game if it wasn't for Dragon Ball. I half agree. I don't think the game's trash, but I don't think it would be as big of a game the way it is right now, with the balance it has right now, if it wasn't for the characters and the license. So that's that other half where it's like I count a lot on like the problem with series is all like looking at the characters, and it's characters people like or hate from a franchise that they love, and an idea that I have that the characters in Dragon Ball are essentially incomplete, all incomplete characters. Even the best characters in the game are incomplete on purpose, and explaining why I feel that way, but not just like dumping on the characters, but also talking about like what the characters are good at. So if it's like a top tier or like a strong character like Blue Goku, I did the problem with Blue Goku and people are like, what do you mean the problem with, he's a top tier character? But he has problems even though he's top tier. It's just not a lot. And then there's the opposite side of like characters like Zamasu, for example, who people who play him, they're like, he's better than you think, but the character barely ever performs, and at least from my perspective only has a couple of strong points and just a ton of weak points. So I try to always like lead in with the positive, like the character can always do like this stuff, and then like, okay, here are the issues.
Yeah, now you're a big Guilty Gear player. Melia, I know, is your girl. So they just announced today that there is going to be a second open beta for the Guilty Gear Strive that got pushed off. It was supposed to release on, you know, they were recording this today. But how excited for Strive are you?
Kind of mixed feelings. So actually, I mean, this is kind of stepping back to YouTube, but like, I sort of think one thing that I also contribute a lot is like, I don't actually like, I always found it weird, not weird, I don't know, I'm a weird dude, like I always see like reaction videos to stuff, and like people just go nuts, and I'm like it's just not there. Like I almost never react that way, you know. So when they announced another beta, and I saw some people are like popping off on the stream like, another beta, let's go, and I'm like, I'm happy I get to play the game more, but I'm not really like you know, jump out the window, jump for joy for an announcement like that, you know what I mean? I am really happy that we're getting another one, and I am looking forward to the game coming out. I wouldn't say I'm like excited, but like I'm looking forward to it. Like I did have a lot more fun with the open beta than the closed beta, and the balance is better, characters are better, netcode's better, everything's better, so no complaints. I'm looking forward to it.
Now they also did a little bit earlier, you mentioned Melty Blood, and you know they have announced the new Melty Blood for I think later this year. Is that correct?
They said everyone's guessing the end of the year. They said 2021, but they didn't say a date. But everyone's thinking the end of the year.
Yeah. So for people like me that has never played a Melty Blood game, what would you say to get someone into Melty Blood?
There's a couple of reasons why you could play Melty Blood. If you like edgelords, you can play Melty Blood. If you like Twilight, you should probably play Melty Blood. If you like jumping, you should play Melty Blood. And if you like games that feel cursed, you should also try Melty Blood. These are all my slightly meme answers. But the game is actually legitimately good game. It's one of those really unfortunate things, in my opinion, that the fighting game community likes to do that really pisses me off. Where like when the game is like super active and new, everyone says the game's for scrubs and stuff. But then basically because the game is old and people still play, they're like the game is godlike. And I always like this game and blah 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 blah. No, you didn't. I was there when the game was active. Everyone said that game's for rejects. Now you're all like, you know. I mean, but we take those. A new Melty Blood. I really did not see that coming. I'm actually pretty happy it's gonna come out. And probably the main thing I would tell people if they want to try the current version, current code, is that the game has a lot of freedom and a ton of different ways to play. Because there's like 25, 26, maybe like 28 characters. I keep upping it. It might actually be 30 characters at this point. Like real talk, I don't know off the top of my head. And then they all have 3 different grooves, and each groove, not only do they have different mechanics, but they also basically have different movesets as well. So there's a lot of freedom to explore the game.
Okay, so when you say like 3 different grooves, is that like each character has like 3 different styles that they play in? Okay.
So when you pick a character, you pick like, let's say, and let's keep the memes fresh, right? So let's say you pick like the main, my main, my championship winning main is a maid. It's a maid with a broom, and there's a sword hidden in her broom. So you pick the maid, and when you pick her, a little screen will pop up under, and it'll say choose your style. You have crescent moon, half moon, and full moon. They all have different mechanics, and the movesets. Well, in Kohaku's case, her moveset is like half the same in each mode, but some characters have like totally different movesets in each mode.
So there's a lot of depth, even within like one character. There's just a lot of depth to it. Mm-hmm. So like you could be playing 2 of the same maids, but if the styles are different, then it's going to be like playing against 2 different characters.
Is unquestionably each against each. There are very few characters that the modes are in. Actually, off the top of my head, I can only think of like 3 characters where people who main that character switch the mode for matchups. Most of the time, people don't do that. They just play like the one mode, and if they need like another character for another matchup, they usually just pick another character.
You know, with your streaming, your YouTubing, even with your pro playing, you know, like goals are important. So what are some goals for like each one of those categories that you have for like the next, you know, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, however far you want to go down the road there?
Well, what I could say for streaming, my biggest goal for streaming is to never let streaming be the most important thing for me. That's my number 1 goal. Actually, I want to keep it like low priority still. It's probably my biggest goal, and it's something I continue to try to focus on as it grows, because I think it's been growing recently, which I'm happy about. So like I got to keep that in my mind, that I don't want that to be like my number 1 thing like ever. For streaming, sorry, not for streaming, for YouTube, I think it's just number stuff. Like YouTube, you know, it's been kind of moving at a kind of consistent pace. I actually really wanted to hit 100k subscribers by next May, because that would be my, I want to say, 3-year YouTubing anniversary. So I think that would be like it looked like a really hard goal at the beginning of the year, but with Guilty Gear coming out and Melty Blood coming out, like I think it actually can be done if I work like hard enough and I think about how to approach things the right way. I think it can be done. So that's probably like my big goal. As far as tournaments, really my main tournament goal is just to win some type of circuit, like the World Tour, for instance, or some type of international major, because that's basically the only type of event I have not managed to win in my time playing fighting games. So I just want to do it one time. Yeah, just the one time.
I was gonna say
and I've been close, which hurts. Yeah. It hurts. I've been close, but
because you won Frosty Fausting's couple years ago, right? Is that correct?
Frosty Falsies is actually one of the only U.S. majors I've not won.
Oh, okay.
I'm close. I'm close. I got second
Okay.
at Frosty.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got
I
second.
apologize for
Yeah,
that one then.
Oh, it's okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm like, I know that you
Sometimes
were.
I get memed like. Sometimes I get memed for like, you know, oh, he always gets second and stuff, and like that used to bother me, but it's like you see on the camera, right? Like there's all this stuff, and there's
Yeah.
stuff you can't see off screen. Also, you know you've won a lot of majors when like you look under your bed and you find like a plaque under your bed. Oh, I didn't know that was there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I'll take the hits. Like when people talk trash talk me for stuff like that, I just like after I got second at Frosty, I actually got a bunch of flack. You know, I played GT Goku at that time, and it was a team that kills you with snap really fast, snapback. So they were like, oh, the only reason you even got this far is because of this. And I was like, well, one, you gotta do what you gotta do. Honestly.
Yeah.
Two, the game's kind of cursed, so like I gotta do it. And three, it's like, you know, like you say like I'm super godlike at whatever game, but it's like you forgot about all the L's before I started winning. Like I took mad L's in Blaze Blue before I started winning Blaze Blue tournaments. I took mad L's in Melty Blood before I started winning Melty Blood tournaments. But people, so like I still have that in my head, so like I don't mind, you know. I'm just like, you gotta work, and then you'll get it. Like I know I'll get it eventually.
Like, I mean, you got second, but how many people didn't get second? Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's still a huge accomplishment by really any metric.
It is. If you're like a competitive person, you're not satisfied with second though. Like, yeah, you got second, and like, yeah, if people are like trash talking you, like they didn't even enter, so like they have no place. But like, if you're not closing every now and then for like each one of those seconds, or like every few of those seconds or thirds, it will get to you. You might be like, man, like I really can't close. Like what's going on? You know, like it'll get to you eventually. But like I've also learned in the past, just like, you know, it just takes time, and like the more refining and that you do, the better you'll get. So it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and like you touched on earlier, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, once you reach a certain level of like play, it's you got to kind of start looking at your characters different, and you know, like, yeah, you were playing GT Goku, but at that point, season 2, you had to play GT Goku. Like there was really no ands or buts about it, really. I mean, that's just how that game went in that season, you know. So you also brought up Blaze Blue. Now I know that there's no like new Blaze Blue coming that they've announced or anything, and I think is that pretty much where you got your start, or am I getting that wrong?
No, I started with SSBM.
Okay.
And then SSBM died, and I was playing Melty Blood already. And I'm not gonna say Melty Blood was free, but I managed to acquire Melty Blood, and so I could play it online somehow. So I played that for a while. And Melty Blood was like my first serious 2D fighter. Blaze Blue came out a little while after that, like a couple years after that. And I partly played that game because I thought it was going to be like the Street Fighter 4 of anime, and that was really wrong. But I still really love Blaze Blue. I think it's a really good game. I'm really glad I got to play it. Then I played Persona 4 Arena, and that was actually the Street Fighter 4 of anime, and it was an amazing game. I'm really happy that it even exists, because it's a super random idea for a fighting game. Like Persona 4 RPG characters in a fighting game, okay. And then after going back to Blaze Blue, because it came out a new Blaze Blue, I played Guilty Gear, Xrd for a while, and then Dragon Ball got announced in like 2018, something like that, 2017 maybe, and then I played that. I've been playing Dragon Ball since.
Nice. So I do have to ask one thing. Gilbert Gottfried, how did that come about with the intro that he did for your channel for a little bit?
Oh, I haven't used that for a while. I saw the video, but essentially there was you know, you're doing content every day, right? So you kind of get in a groove of like whatever intro. Like some people have like their animated intro, some people have like some type of meme they use, some people are just like, yo, what's up, it's me, and with another video. So I'm like one of those guys, and like I kind of just doing my intro, and one day I read a comment where the guy was like, yeah, like, you know, this video was dope and I learned a lot, but like your intro is just so boring, like there's nothing. And like, you know, all the other YouTubers are like, smash that like button and stuff, and you're just like please, if you like my content, then please. It's like, can't you do something a little more oomph? So I was like, you want more oomph? All right, I'm gonna hop on Cameo. I'll drop like the 100 or whatever it was for Gilbert Gottfried to say like and subscribe, and then I rocked that for a couple weeks until people got tired of it, and I was like, all right, okay.
No, I thought that was hilarious. Like the first time I saw that, I had busted out laughing because
I thought it was hilarious too.
Like I remember,
can't pronounce anything.
Yeah, like I remember Gilbert from like growing up in like Problem Child, and obviously like Aladdin playing Iago and stuff, and just seeing him come on there, I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. All right, so like you just went through this whole video talking about all these different fighting games. What would you say is your favorite fighting game?
I think it's probably Persona 4 Arena. It's my favorite original one. It's my favorite game. It's a combination of like a lot of good memories from that time, and then also I think I got way better as a player of fighting games in general playing that game. Way more like national, international competition. The franchise I love already. Like just everything in the game was so good, and like there's just too much stuff that's good about that game. even despite there being a lot of stuff I don't like about the game, like that's every game, because the characters are different, so you're either gonna like stuff, you're gonna not like stuff. But the game itself is like, it's such a good game. It's like a really, really good game that I enjoy a lot.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite non-fighting game?
My favorite game of my life is Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. It's a masterpiece. Best game I ever played.
I don't think I've actually played that one.
Yeah, it's not that easy to get, let's say, because it has not released in the US. So you have to use more creative means to play the game if possible. That's why. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, and with your with all your tournaments and stuff, you've done a lot of like international traveling too, right? Yeah. So what's the favorite place that you've ever like traveled to?
Ooh, it's interesting. It's not tough. That's a kind of hard one. I don't know. I would have to think about places I don't like going to. Like for example, I know you said international, but like CEO, they had CEO in Daytona, and I had a great time, and I thought it was like a sick area. And then like I remember waking up like the last day, and I was about to be like, man, I had a great time at CEO Daytona. It would be nice if we can go back to the old venue, but like, hey, okay. And then like I just started reading tweets of all the people who like, yeah, this guy yelled the N-word at me on the street, or like they saw I was wearing this and like, what's wrong with you? Insert slur here, and I was like, maybe people's experiences vary drastically. Like, so I just didn't say anything. So it's just an example of like, it's pretty hard for me to not like your event. And by the way, I think everyone liked that actual CEO. It's just they had a problem with Daytona. So like the flip is like, I didn't really like Defend the North. I know I'm talking about tournaments and not places. Though what I'm trying to say is I like basically everywhere I've gone to. Okay. A lot. And I mean my recent the best answer I can give you is like my recent kick. I've been going to Mexico a lot. Okay. Past couple of years, I really enjoy it as a visitor. People are really nice. The food's really good. The nightlife's good. The tournaments are ran fine. They don't have a lot of big events, which is probably like their biggest issue as a scene in general. Is there's just not a lot of events, and international competition doesn't come to them very much, and it's expensive for them to leave. So it's kind of a few problems they're having, but they're trying to have a new major out there. Okay. A place I've been going to a lot recently that I think is really sick. I'm gonna try to support them.
Outside of gaming and content creation, what would you say are some of your hobbies that you have?
Well, I mean, playing video games is a big one. I wouldn't call content creation like a hobby so much, really. It's a weird one in that it's fun to do, but like doing YouTube every day basically makes me feel like I have a job. Because like if I didn't because like I edit all my own videos, I record everything and stuff. So obviously that takes some amount of time during my day, like as little as 1 hour, but as many as like 5 or 6, depending on like what I'm trying to do. So I do consider it work, but it's like fun work. I'm really into fitness recently. Not even recently. I've been like working out for like pretty consistently for like 5 years, so I'm pretty into that. I like traveling, food, and like travel's a pretty generic one, but like I like with you if you connect it with the FGC, like you get to connect from people from those places. So like if you use like the Mexico example, right? Like I'm not going to Cancun for like a spring break style resort type of experience. Like I'm meeting some dude who's a friend from Mexico in some place, and then we do stuff like that type of thing. And I think that makes the experience not only really authentic, but like it helps remind you that like you're not just you living in your bubble on like East Coast or like Midwest or whatever. Like the same time that you're sitting around doing whatever you're doing, someone somewhere else that you're not thinking about that's also just kind of just doing what they got to do too. So I really like value that, and like it feels like I have to go back and remember this thing, because like every time I go somewhere I'm like, oh yeah, like this thing that I kind of forgot is a truth.
Okay.
So there's that. Yeah, those are probably like the main things. I like draw for fun, like starting like last year. I want to pick up a new instrument because I used to play music when I was a kid, but my parents thought I got too into it, so they didn't buy me. Yeah, that's a really common thing in my childhood. It's like, oh man, this thing is cool, and I'll get into it, and then they're like, nah, you're too into it, so they'll just try to like stop me from doing it.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, it was associated with school, so I kept getting instruments through school. So I played the sax for like, I don't know, like 12, 13 years, I think. And then after I graduated, I stopped because I just had no sax, so I can't play. But by then I was like, I don't really like. I was like good, but I was like, I don't really want to like pursue this, Like I don't want to play like super serious like that. So, but I kind of like in the past year or so, I've been kind of like, oh, I kind of want to play something. Like I miss playing music.
Well, what would you pick up? Yeah. Like, would you pick up a guitar or?
I'm leaning really heavily toward bass guitar because I liked it when I was a kid too. But I think my school just didn't have any, so I just didn't get one.
Yeah, no, bass is fun. I've got mine back there. Yeah, and I've got my other guitar over here because I do play both. But no, dude, picking up guitar was my way of like not doing homework in high school. It's like I was a huge gamer. Like I've always been a huge gamer, but there was basically my entire sophomore year of high school. I was grounded off of video games because I was like getting terrible grades because I wasn't doing my homework. And so my mom's just like, nope, you're not playing video games. I'm like, okay, where's the guitar at? And just started like teaching myself to play guitar. So yeah, no, I can totally understand the whole like getting too into it thing. Like totally. And on the subject of music, what would you say is like your favorite genre of music to just listen to when you're chilling?
I listen to a bunch of stuff. I should admit that like I don't think I'm as good at music discovery. Like I don't go like too often. Oh, someone's calling me. Yeah, I don't go out of my way for music discovery too much. But I try more often now than I used to. I used to just not look for stuff, like straight up. Like if someone's like, "Oh, you should listen to this," I'll just do it. And then if I liked it, I'd be like, "Okay, it's cool." If I didn't like it, then that was it. So I have like a little hip hop mixed in there, lots of like instrumentals and stuff. I like like lo-fi stuff, but sometimes lo-fi puts me to sleep though. So I also like more upbeat type of like funk stuff, acid jazz. I'm not super into EDM stuff unless I'm at a party, really. I guess it's probably like the main things. It's lots of like just like atmospheric, like BGM-ish type stuff.
All right, so do you have like a favorite artist or band, or is it just kind of you just put on like the lo-fi hip hop channel to study to and just kind of chill with that? Or
it's a mix. I made like my own playlist, like I actually feel like having the lo-fi beats in the background and not knowing whose music it is actually like kind of messed up. Like if you're listening to that all the time, then you should like try to find people. So there are people that I like a lot. Like there's this dude Aether that I like a lot. I think it's Aether K that I like a lot. maybe the person I bought like so many of this dude's albums at this point.
Mhm.
This dude from New Jersey named Flaming Osis, which is like I'm super when I'm driving I always bump that his stuff. He has like so maybe like 12 plus albums. There's so much stuff. Trying to think what else who else I've been listening to recently. I've been trying to find out more acid jazz people too. Because I made that is what I just said. Like I'll have like a mix playing, and
Mhm.
I play the mix a lot. I'm like, I should find out who these people are, bro. I should just listen to the mix over and over and over. Like I
Yeah.
should find out who they are. Yeah.
No, I feel you on that. Have you ever heard of DJ Cutman?
DJ Cutman
Cutman, yeah,
or
DJ
Cut?
Cut, like cut.
That is extremely familiar. Extremely familiar.
Yeah, he does a lot of like those lo-fi like retro video game BGM kind of things
Yeah.
where he
yeah.
mixes that. So that's some pretty nice. Just like if me and the wife are cleaning, we'll just put on some of his stuff and just like chill. And every once in a while, we'll be like, oh, that's from Zelda, or oh, that's from Mega Man, or like. So I would, if anybody out there who hasn't heard of DJ Cutman, definitely like check him out. He's got some pretty good shit. So moving on from music to cinema, what would you say are some of your favorite movies?
No comment. Not a joke. It's funny because like you're like, is there anything you don't want to talk about? It's not that I don't want to talk about movies. It's I literally can't because I just don't watch. I barely.
Okay.
I watch like all like the super normie, like I watch like Lord of the Rings in theaters.
Okay.
I watch like the new Star Wars stuff when it was coming out in theaters, but like as a kid, and then like it just carried over. Like we just like my family never took us out that often. We weren't asking to go to the movies that much, and like I had a console literally as far back as I remember, so I was like, bro, I can just play video games here. Like I don't need to watch like this movie or that movie. So I get memed so much by like one of my good friends for like not knowing a movie reference. Like everyone has a friend who just is OD on the movie references, and I almost always I'm just like, okay, and they're like, dude, you haven't seen, but the movies he references are like movies everyone has seen,
Yeah.
except for, so I'm just like, my bad, bro.
No, that's totally
Yeah.
me. Like
Yeah.
it's totally. I could drop probably like 30 or 40 references right now. Just whoop. So do you watch any like anime or anything like that?
Yeah, but nowhere near as much as I used to.
Okay.
I was kind of raised on anime, kinda. My older sister was really into it, and so like I was like pretty young. Well, I was like already like 8 years old watching anime, 9 years old watching anime. But and I carried that energy for a while, and then once we got into the light novel generation that we're in right now, I kind of like started falling off watching. I used to like keep up with like every season. Like there would be something every season where I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna watch these things. Now that we're in light novel mode, I have not done so much just because like I don't like them so much. I don't think it's as interesting. It feels like, and I mean, I don't blame them for doing this too. Like, it feels like studios are not as adventurous as they used to be with IPs, and they're just kind of like, again, I don't blame them. It's obviously a good business plan to like, you just take something that already is successful and you just make an anime adaptation of it. Like, and it's not like there aren't people who are doing original stuff as well. I just feel like it's way less than it used to, and a lot of the ideas are like, because a lot of them are adapted from like light novels and stuff, it's like hyper focused on like different markets, so it's like it's hard to even like casually watch stuff. So I might watch like 1 or 2 series a year as opposed to like 4 or 5 per season.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. It's like it seemed like last year everything that was coming out was all the isekai, like, oh, I got sent to a different world and now I'm like the protagonist in this other world, and like it's all like all of it is very similar, with just like minor tweaks like here or there. So yeah, no, I totally feel you on the whole sameness of the like just anime in general. Like I still watch it, but it's like few and far in between. There's not been a lot of animes that like my nerdy ass has gotten excited over in the past couple years. So
I would say like once we got to like slice of life era, I started kind of like yeah, I'm not about it, because I find like most slice of life to be kind of boring. They've gotten better at it. Like the original ones that people got really hyped for, I'm like, I remember like people. Alan was like one of the first big ones, and I remember I was like a sophomore in college, and my friend was like, "Yo, you have to watch K-On! Like it's so good. There's already 4 episodes. You have to watch it. It's just ridiculous." I'm like, okay. So I pre-gamed at my apartment. My roommate, who hated me because I stayed up till 4 a.m. like every day playing Melty, and you think I hit buttons loud now? Like at least I do stuff. At least when you're watching, I do stuff to make it not as loud. Like he just had to hold that, and he would just leave every weekend to go hang out with his girlfriend or something. I don't know. He would just go. So I would just have the apartment to myself. I would pre-game. I pre-gamed that night, and I was watching K-On! I watched like 2 episodes. I was like, bro, when does it start? So I just like messaged my friend. I'm like, dude, this sucks. And he's like, what do you mean? The part where she borrowed like the eraser from the other girl, it was so hype. And I'm like, and then once that, but like everyone loved it, and once that took off, there were like so many of those, and I was just like, nah, son, this ain't it.
Yeah,
not for me.
No, I'm not a slice of life guy. Like there's a couple. When I say a couple, I mean like 2 or 3 that I'm like, yeah.
There are some really good ones. There are some really good ones for sure. The general idea is kind of sleep, but like they've gotten way better at doing them over time. They're not that common anymore, by the way. It's definitely right now. It's all light novel isekai. Like those are like the big hitters right now. Yeah. So if you see a slice of life right now, it's probably like something pretty unique. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah. So what I like ending off these interviews with are some like fun facts, obscure knowledge, just something weird that you know that you don't think a lot of other people know. So do you have any like obscure facts or fun facts or weird knowledge that you just want to throw at people right now?
Did you know that you can block in Dragon Ball?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's like an option.
How do you do that?
That's something that you can choose to do, and it'll keep you from dying. That's kind of it's kind of a cool one. That's kind of a cool one.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a lot of people that know that. You don't have to mash all the time.
Jokes aside, though, I don't know, like, I guess it would be maybe like some game-related stuff. If not like some fighting game stuff. Like, fighting games have some pretty esoteric systems, actually, that, like, people might not know offhand. Dragon Ball's a weird one where, like, there's actually a lot of Arxis esoterics in the game, but somehow, because of the way the game is, you don't see them used because you can't like apply them as well as other games. That's actually a pretty common, not common. I want to say like it's a pretty regular thing I saw in Dragon Ball. Like there was like this type of like option select you could do in other games in like situationally where like you would like move out of the way in some instances and then not move in other instances. And like I was like, man, this might be really good in Dragon Ball, but the backdash has no invincibility, so it's actually not that good. And the timing is hard in Dragon Ball because you have variable control over your air movement, right? Which other Arxis games you don't have that much. Like the way they go about it is like they just give you different moves that alter your air momentum, not the straight up free form control of like super jump float. So there's a lot of stuff like that in various fighting games that like little nuggets that either I just didn't tell people because I was saving it for tournament, but it's like such a small thing. It's like a small thing, but if people knew, then I'm saying it's a weird way. I'm usually all about saving information, but like no, not saving, sharing information. But once in a while, I mean, I think every like quote unquote pro player, top player, whatever, has like a couple of things that they found out and they're like, oh, this is so good that like this little piece of knowledge might be the difference in like an important situation in tournament. And I usually am the type that like I personally try to bring like 1 or 2 things to like a big tournament and not tell anybody, and then tell people after. So I have a lot of like random bits of knowledge that like people don't know about games that I've played before that I just like didn't tell people before the event. In some cases, I didn't tell them after event either. After the event either, because that was the last game. Like for Persona 4 Arena, I remember the last tournament I entered, and that basically everyone entered because Ultimax was going to come out in like a couple months. So I played Mitsuru, and I found out a while before that by the way, we're really lucky that this is not in Dragon Ball, or else there'd be a lot of unblockables in Dragon Ball. But
Okay.
there's a way. It's like an RPG, right? So there's status effects. So there's like poison. There's like freeze. There's rage, so like you do more damage but you can't block. There's fear, which is you can't tech throws, and everything is like a super counter hit instead of like a normal counter hit. So, and then there's one that is not in the RPG, but it's in the fighting game. It's called Spin State, which is exactly what it sounds like. Your character's just like, whoa, and just spinning. When you're in Spin State, all you can do is block or get hit. You can't do anything else. You can't reversal, can't do nothing. All you can do is block or get hit. So the common knowledge was that there was a way to set up an unblockable with like, with one character, maybe two characters, where you apply rage. So like somehow, so that in rage all you can do in rage you can't block. So if you go into Spin State, all you can do is get hit because you can't block. But I discovered, and it ended up helping me. I discovered that my character has moves that freeze, and she has a way to. Generally, when you end combos, you just knock them down. But there was a character that has a reversal that got out of my knockdown set, got out of my Oki. It's like an ice wall that I put on you, and he would teleport out of the ice wall because it hits him frame 1. He just teleports out. You can't punish him when he activates the DP, the counter, and so he just gets out, which sucks. And over time, I tried like all sorts of answers, and one day randomly I found out that if I did a move while there was a move that she has that if you do it while they're frozen, the opponent's frozen, the first hit calls the Spin State. So if they block, you're super plus, and then you just get to do your offense. If they do anything that's not blocked, they just get hit. People who play that character tend to press buttons because they know that their reversal is really good, and they will teleport off stuff if they hit it. And it applies rage to you, so it makes it so that I can't block after it hits for like 5 seconds. So in the tournament, it was like winners finals or something. In the tournament, I froze him and I did the move and it just hit. And I was ready for it to hit. I'm like, he's definitely not blocking. Yeah. Like I know he's not blocking. And I didn't tell anybody. So I was like, oh well, got the free hit. I did another like 50%, and then I won the round from it. And I was like, that's an example of like, there's more examples like Goichi not telling anybody about Moon Jump until after the finals, right? Like a lot of people try to come up with stuff. Or like how all of Japan and all of the US all had secret SSJ Goku mix-ups for the World Tour Season 1. That was a joke about the Forbidden mix-up, the Goku Forbidden mix-up, is that literally all of the top US players who played Goku and all the top JP players who played Goku all had 50-50s with SSJ Goku that no one told each other. But everyone was doing at the tournament. It was really funny, actually. It's just things like that. It's things like that.
Now, one last thing before we get out of here. For anybody who is wanting to, take that step into being a pro player, what is the biggest piece of advice that you could give them to help them on their way?
There's probably a couple things that you got to keep in mind. One is that like whatever your goal is, you have to be consistent with it, because there's not really like a straight up path. Like I think I could like, let's say, help somebody. Like if someone like was like, man, I really want to be like a full-time player, like I could like help them, but there's no like actual like path. It's just like something that happens if you're in the right place in the right time. So the main thing is like you need to do stuff so that you are there if that can happen. And I think the other big thing too is that fighting game players have a really bad, I don't know about other games, I only play fighting games competitively. Fighting game players have a really bad habit of asking a question of like, why is X, Y, or Z player not sponsored, right? And it's not just about your skill, there's other factors, especially if you're looking for a good team, because you don't want to join like a poor organization. We've seen so many examples, right? Like the the most recent one's probably what are they called? Brutal Democracy, I think they're
I
called.
think so, yeah.
They went straight up under, right? They went
Yeah.
under. So like in my case, for a long time, people are like, "Why isn't he sponsored? Why isn't he sponsored?" There's the one part where I turn down sponsors that I think are not legit, or I don't think they'll support me in the way that I want. There's the other factor where like there's no tryouts. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you sign a form and they hit you up. Like it partly is you have to be in the right place at the right time. So you need to take the steps that will get you there, and also keep in mind too that you need to be able to how do I say this? You need to be able to do things that will let you like live your life essentially without needing the support of the organization as well. Those are probably like the two really major things that you would have to keep in mind, because you really can't just make money off tournaments. If you think I suck at the game because I don't win tournaments, like cool, because like I don't really make money off tournaments in Dragon Ball. I have won literally 0 major tournaments. I've only won like regionals and stuff in Dragon Ball. But it's not just tournament money that I live off of, you know. I mean, yeah, I should say it like that. Yeah, it's not just tournament money that I live off of. It's like there's other stuff, not just the org, just like all the various things that I do is how I like support myself. So you gotta think, you gotta step outside of the FGC box, because we are like, out of all the people that play fighting games, FGC is legit like no more than 5% of all the people who play fighting games. So it's like you gotta be able to like step outside of the box and the bubble and think from that perspective.
Very good answer. Very good answer. I like it. Anyway, guys, Lord Knight, thank you very much for coming on here. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
This has been a blast talking to you, getting to like pick your brain on things and everything. It's just been great. And guys, if you haven't checked him out, Lord Knight, where can they find you?
I have a YouTube. If you just, I'm not quite at just search Lord Knight and you'll find it yet, because there's a lot of Lord Knights for a lot of different stuff. But I have a YouTube channel for Dragon Ball, and I have Twitch where I actually do have Lord Knight, thankfully, because I got on the platform really early. On Twitter, I have Lord Knight BB. I also have a second YouTube channel called Lord Knight Clips that I've been slacking on, but I'm really trying to like work on and make consistent. So there's also that I've been trying to do recently.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, go over, check his channels out, give his Twitch some love, give his YouTube some love, follow him on Twitter, do all that kind of stuff. He's a great guy. And, you know, thank you very much for watching. And if you enjoyed it, you know, go down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not. And also ding the bell for notifications. Leave a comment down below. Tell me who you'd like to see on here next. You know, and I'll see what I can do about getting them on here. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. But most importantly, have a great day.
Okay, lit.